get that rolling.
Alright.
Otherwise, how's it been?
It's been really good. He does really well. I think, like, he's got it down pat for the most part. Yeah.
For the heel?
Yeah, for the walking at least.
Excellent. Any questions from this previous week?
Yes.
A couple. So, as we're going on walks, he has his fur sibling. He tends to be okay, but like I'm a little worried that her lack of training is gonna like kind of affect his training in a way. So I don't know how to handle that. No, she's about the same age.
Same age?
We have our dog, and this is her dog,
yeah.
And they're almost the same age. But she, truthfully, like after we got home, like walking him to pleasure, now she's a pain.
Sure, yeah. Well, you have a couple of things you can do. One, you can train her. And actually, finding the 2-dog version of that model is easy.
Yeah.
There's plenty of those out there. So that's a potential option.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be you train him, and what I would do is probably get her like a gentle leader.
That's what she does a lot better with that. I made them put
Yeah.
that one on there.
That just gives you more control. So it doesn't fix the problem, but it's a lot more manageable. Because then, because what happens, you got one dog here and then you got another dog that you're constantly addressing. And that could affect, it won't like make him regress, but he might test the boundaries because he's like, well, she's not,
Right.
like he's wanting to follow her lead. Like, oh, you're pulling, so why can't I do it? Type of deal.
And then like further down the road, is in terms of like socialization and like aggression issues, I think we've also started to realize she might start some of it, like in the sense of like barking at the fence line. Like the other day, I watched him look at a person that was close to the fence, dismiss him and go away, but as soon as she noticed him, she barked and he came in to like protect her.
Correct.
So
there's a way to correct that Sans e-collar. It's called a bunker, which if you shoot me an email, I can send you the videos. It's a super easy concept.
Okay.
So with behavior, it's simple. It's just, I don't want you to do that. We have an aversive.
okay.
That's simple. So they're just options for you, so that this way you can still stop her, but not have to worry about having to e-collar for her, however you decide. Whether or not it'll be effective is a different thing, okay? But that's a potential option. Like you can correct her even without the e-collar. Okay.
Yeah, because she does really well with people. Like
The final question was, so as he got better and better walking, we were challenging him more and more. So like we walked him by Jewel, literally, and so the doors opening freaked him out.
Sure.
So we walk him, like kind of from, if this is the door, like in the middle of the street, then closer. Well, we got like last night, and he was like, like he looked, she.
Well, he
nicked him
looked
he
and then pulled away from me, so I tapped him to get him back to me, and then he yelped and kind of looked at the door and freaked out because I think he associated it with the door.
If you spoke to the door, that yelp might have been just he was already on edge.
Yeah.
So the yelp doesn't always mean discomfort. It can mean surprise.
Okay.
Or if the dog's already overloaded with stress, like it's just more stress.
Right.
It happens.
So it's okay to correct him, even though.
No, that's being mean.
I said last. She's like, I'm like, let's do it again. She's like, no, I want to have Jessie first.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't like exacerbating the situation.
And then the other
You
thing
can push
is,
them as much as you want. I go by the handler. Like if I push a dog, I push them a lot.
Yeah.
Because they don't baby each other.
right.
And I'm not, and my energy is always like in control or whatever. If it looks like it's not going to get any better, then I'll stop or not go any further.
Change your
and then
method or
reset
whatever.
and we'll try again later on. But I'm all for pushing things. The more you push, the more progress you make quicker.
And then I don't know if it matters, but we had the final interesting thing this week is usually he's been like around 32 in the neighborhood. There was a skunk in our yard, and it was 74.
Yeah, it jumped way up.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why e-collar is effective because I can adjust it according to the situation. So like when we address the territorial behavior within the home and the knocking and stuff, like you may be up there.
Right.
Because that's what we all of a sudden I'm like that's when we see that like where he is just like.
Yeah, that's why in that video where I do the perception level thing, that the dog that's looking at the dog's playing, you can see the muscle twitching, but she's still staring, and eventually I get tight enough, and she's like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, it breaks her out of it.
Okay.
Completely. I tell people, it's like kid playing video games. You know, playing video games, you know, say wash the dishes or clean your room or whatever. They're like, okay, come back half an hour later, they're still playing video games. They don't even know that you told them to do
Right.
something, you know. But for a dog, you know, even physically, they can be completely just out of it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, all that sounds normal.
Okay.
Okay. So good job. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Alrighty. So what we'll do is what's our number right now? 30 something?
It's 15 still. I haven't really tapped them.
Okay. I'll have you just show me what you've been practicing, and then we'll move on to the next. Okay. Do me a favor. Would you run in my car and in the trunk of the back seat look for, you know, my black sleeve?
Yeah.
If I have it in there, please.
I don't know why I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I think it's there, but I'm just. Good. And come to a stop when you're ready. Good. Has he been like that for both of you?
Yep.
All right. Can I have you show me, please? I need proof.
And you didn't work with us with the sit part last week, but I did see it in a video.
Sure.
And I felt like he was far enough along, so I worked that in.
Yeah, sometimes we get it the first class. Otherwise, it's usually on the second class, but that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
That's what those videos are there for. That's what I like to hear. I have a daycare client who, she's not training with us yet. And she was watching one of our videos and she was already like employing it. I'm like, that's what they're there for.
Right.
Good turns. Try speeding up a bit. And then slow. Oh, that's nice. Very good. Yep. Go ahead and turn. And slow to stop when you're ready. And here. There we go. Good. Excellent. Good job, ladies. So, for the sitting, I'm assuming, did you do like the up but down
Yep.
tap?
Yep.
Okay. And I saw you a couple times tug up for the sit. Are there taps there as well?
Not if, because he does it so quickly. Like I feel like he already does it as quick as I wanted him to. So I haven't tapped him unless he isn't doing it.
Okay.
If that makes
So,
sense.
tap. There we go. Very good. So we have a couple things that we can do here. Thank you. One is if he's more often than not sitting. Yeah, that's okay. Tap. Good. He should get it over, you know, just as you walk with them.
Yeah, and most of the time he is. Like
Yes.
even if I stop and don't, like I forget to pull up or anything, he's already sit down.
He's got it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we had a question,
You have to run it all the way.
a discussion.
Yep. Yep. Good. Yep. A light pull up. Yep. And relax.
Is a sit where he's facing forward?
Yep. Like, does it have to be like perfect?
is that like is that a
Yeah.
sit? Is that all right?
So this is family pet stuff. Right?
Okay.
So I care about function more than I care about aesthetic. I do a lot of things that by the dog training book is wrong. Actually, one of my employees, I was teaching something. Tap, 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 tap. And I like that you restrain from lifting your hand. I want to keep doing that. Okay. Is I teach down from a sitting position, which is a big no-no. And one of my trainers is like kind of comes from like formal dog training. And I could tell that she was kind of thinking it, and I told her, I was like, yes, I don't go by the book. So I was like, because this is not competition ring, this is family
Right.
pet function.
He's not gonna be a service dog. Or
Correct.
anything, so.
Now what I don't want is like if I'm over here, tap, tap, tap. What's your number?
27.
Okay, it's going to bump it a bit. Tap, tap, tap. Bump it again. Tap, tap, tap. Like pull up. What's your number now?
39.
So you went from 27 to 39?
Yes.
Let's go down to 35. What was the number you used in between? On the first bump, do you remember?
Like 32.
Okay, we'll leave it at 35. So, yeah, but unless he's like blatantly, like completely out of position, you know, then I bring him in closer, but I don't care exact position.
Right.
Okay? What I do here is reinforce the obedience. It's very black and white, so I give some leniency in the sense of like where he's facing and all that stuff. But heel is walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop, not lay down. Okay. And the way I look at that is for Blue, correct?
Yes.
Is as a human, you're logical, and then you go, oh, he's just laying down because he's hot or he's tired or whatever it is, right? But for Blue, he thinks of it as I made a decision and I was able to do it. So it could be just laying down, it could be lunging and barking, it can be stopping the key on every tree, it can be, you know, go greet a family member or whatever. So if he's under command, you have to reinforce it, you know, to the degree that it is, which is just maintain that sit, okay? Now here, and this was gonna be the next thing I was gonna say about the auto sits, is if you come to a stop and he doesn't automatically sit within that, you should start to see that you see him already thinking about it. Tap. Okay. 32.
It's at 35. So
Yep.
whatever.
Yep. 32. Is when you tap him, you're standing, you should just go into position. Now we're making him think more. Like here, you know, your arms are down, you're not helping him, and he's doing it. So what does this tell us? Yeah, he's got a good concept of what he's supposed to be doing. Tap. Good. And by removing that help, because a lot of times if we always do the pull up, he'll respond to the pull up, but you're always pulling up because it's not inversive. We're wanting him to
Make that decision on his own.
correct and refrain from laying down. Okay, so he's like putting himself through it. Okay, now we did address the number. We went from 27, was it 32 or 39 back to 35 to 32. Yep. So with the yipping, I just, you know, you learn it. So like let's say we went down again to 27 or 29. But he keeps breaking that position. It happens, it's rare, but it happens where it's like you're too low and the dog doesn't listen, or you're a bit higher and they listen, but they yip.
Yeah.
You know,
I think he's kind of like that, where he's kind of just trying to tell us that he's mad at it, like about it, instead of actually being hurt from it.
right, like just kind of protesting it.
Yeah, like frustration a little bit.
And I've had clients in the past where they dial back because they're like, you know, theoretically we don't want that, right?
Right.
But I'll tell them I'm like, your dog is playing you. Like your dog has learned if I yip, you go
you'll move
lower,
it lower,
and then they're not listening.
Right.
You know, like it's like having a little kid.
No,
So
he's super smart.
yeah,
I can totally see him doing it.
you know, because we're just we're like five. Currently, we're 5 levels above what we were at the start, right?
Right.
And I could go down, you know, 2 levels or whatever, and see if I can find that balance. But if you feel like it's getting it's too much shifting,
Right.
then I would go with the lowest, highest number that he will respond to. Does that make sense? So like
Yes.
he's yipping at 32, but that's been the lowest that we've gotten him to give us what we want.
Right.
And for the past like 3 minutes now, he's not laid down again.
Yeah.
And then I look for that as well. Are you going to keep repeating that behavior? And by making him think and problem solve it himself and sit up is, in my opinion, how they retain it better.
Okay.
Okay? Any questions about that?
Nope.
Alrighty. So we're going to move on to the next thing. This all looks good. So heel again is a package. Walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. And we're going to go ahead and add in that verbal cue. Cue is heel. Yep. There you go. Verbal cue is heel. So what we're going to do.
Sorry, can I move? Because like I can't see him now.
Sure. So what you can do here is instead of adjusting to him, lightly pull forward to give tension forward. Tap, 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 tap. Go to 35, and you know, make it a direct pull forward. Tap, 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 tap. 38. Tap, 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 tap. 41. tap, 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 tap. 45. This is all normal stuff.
Now am I going for, am I pulling?
So up to get the sit, tap, then forward, tap, 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 tap. Right? So you can see it twitching, right? You're at what, 45?
45.
Let's go to 53. Tap, 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 tap. There it is, right? So what happened there is he goes, don't want to do it. And that's when the brain locks out, okay? So right there, we just kept playing with the number, and I always override the dog, okay? In my experience and opinion, this is what actually helps with that behavioral stuff.
Okay.
Because if let's say we go like, if the owner goes, oh, Jess, this is I'm uncomfortable, I'm just gonna step back, right?
Right.
I go, but now the dog just resisted, said, no, I'm not gonna do it, and then you did all the work. Like you're the one, you adjusted to the dog adjusts to the human.
So he'll know if he stays stubborn, then he can probably get away with it sometimes.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
if I override him, he goes, crap,
Never getting away with it.
yes, I'm gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
But then it makes him more susceptible to lower numbers because he knows this will just keep going up. Okay, I've had dogs be maxed out like it's like a shit show, and then as soon as they break, all of a sudden they're on 20
Yeah.
because they're like, all right, they didn't know it could go that high, and then we get a super compliant dog, and there's a method to this, right? We went from 27, 32, 35, 39, 43, right? And then finally, when I saw it 45, I was like, yeah, he's not budging. I went 53 because then we'd be here even longer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
45, I know what that looks like in the terms of a dog's response, and I'm like, he's completely not fazed by it. So I'm going to go a bigger jump,
Yeah.
so that
I
we
kinda
get to the
had
answer
to do that
faster.
with that skunk that one night when I had adjusted it twice, 3 times, and then I'm like, fine, if you're not gonna listen, like I'll bump it up to 60.
Sure.
I was at like 47,
Sure.
and he was just completely not paying attention.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So as you get used to it, you don't even think about it. So that was good. So we'll go back down to our whatever our original number was.
So back down like 32.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna add in that verbal cue. So I'll have something here. You're gonna have blue on your left. What we're gonna add in now is the cue of heel. We're gonna say heel first, and then you're gonna move forward with your left leg. Okay? So it's gonna be heel, left leg. You're gonna walk for a little bit. You're gonna come to that stop. You should auto sit, otherwise you'll have to for it. Wait a moment. Heel, left leg. Stop, auto sit, heel, and then repeat. We're gonna do that 5 times.
Okay.
Then we're gonna swap handlers, and then we're gonna move on to the next thing.
Okay.
Okay? Question? You ready? Good. So here, he's crossed in front of you. This is gonna be the exception. You're gonna say heel, and you're gonna power through with that right leg, like yes, but no tap. Okay, and you're gonna move straight through. Heel and right leg instead of left leg. Yep, bump, bump. There you go. And that's the push up to the left again.
It's kind of like the same way
Yep.
with turning
There you go.
right or left when I make turns. Like sometimes I'll bop him with my knees a couple times, like if we're going
Turn
this
it
way.
down?
Yeah, but he got it after like the second time.
So here, when you go heel, put some like real behind that leg, okay? There you go. I mean, that's how it works.
She's not scared.
Yeah. Yep, you're fine. Let's try a couple more. Let's see how he sits here. That's better. Now left leg. Yep. I feel like he wants 5 on him.
Yeah,
it's constant.
that's been part of our issue is
Yep. Good.
heel.
This attachment.
Yes.
Yeah. See that? All of a sudden he had that problem as soon as you get past her.
So now what am I doing?
You'll have to slant a bit, heel, and it's just come in, go hard, and then pivot around, then we'll swap handlers, okay?
Heel.
I have an exercise that we can do that may correct that. It's not so much a disobedience thing as it is just an attachment issue.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go and swap handlers. That was good.
And that's what.
Good.
Heel.
I want some vibes on mom. So heel and it's like a boom. Relax your arms. Couple more. Good.
Heel.
Not too bad. As long as we don't get a terrible crossover like it was earlier, I don't mind like the inward, like right there, just
Like
kind of
facing
like
a little bit towards me.
Yeah, I just don't want it in the way.
Yeah.
Because then when you're walking and if he does this, then it's hard to obviously keep moving forward.
Right.
Okay, so all that looked good. Questions about that?
So when we go on walks, should we like do that kind of distance where we're doing it pretty consistently with the heel command?
So this is more so for you
Okay.
to get it into your muscle memory. Technically, once you start your walk, you just initiate the first heel, and let's say you walk for 5 blocks before you come to a stop, and then he'd sit, and then heel
Again.
the left leg. Yeah.
Okay.
So this here is just to get you used to the heel left leg pattern. But then, so we're gonna go over the turns now, the left and the pivots,
Okay.
or the crossovers and the pivot turns. So after you learn these things, what I suggest to my clients is before they start their walks, to get it in their muscle memory, you go out, you let Blue do his business, get that out the way, heel to stop 5 times, and then heel to crossover turns 5 times, then heel to pivots 5 times, and then start your walk.
Okay.
Okay, so you're just getting yourself warmed up, because when you're on the walk, then you have to actively think, yep, right? Good. Then you have to actively think to yourself like, oh, here comes a stop sign, I'm gonna turn left, and you have to adjust your speed, and then you have to time it with your leg, and then you go. Which in the beginning it's a little awkward, but once you get used to it, you don't have to think about it.
Right.
Okay? Other questions? All right. So for the crossovers, and I think it sounds like you're starting it.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had to tap? Like you had to really power through him to make it happen?
Maybe like the first time, but I did it a couple times in one walk, and he did really well with the last couple times.
Gotcha. So go ahead and just show me your left turns, okay?
Okay. Heel.
Okay, so you got the movements pretty good, but your right leg is too soft, and that's why you're ending up off the sidewalk. So by the 3rd step, you should already be the opposite way. So if we take the cracks of the sidewalk here and use it to our as a guide, we're moving, and you have it here, and you're going to want to cut at a 90-degree angle, and then left, then right. So you should be, you'll stay within the space of the sidewalk. Right, left, right, but you're making a really sharp 90-degree cut, right, left, right. So within the 3rd step, you're already going the opposite way.
Okay.
So if you end up in the grass, you took too many steps,
Okay.
and you most likely ended up the very soft right crossover, which is like most people do like this.
Like a diet.
And then sometimes they end up like pushing the dog out because of where the alignment is. So if that happens, it's because we did it incorrectly. Okay. The other thing was you're going straight into those turns, and you want to
Slow down.
slow down. Yes. So we're walking, and we slow down, and then it would be right, left, right. If you wanted to pick it up, and slow down, and then right, left, right, pick it up, slow down, right. Okay. So for the slow down, at least 2 to 3 steps, more is perfectly fine. That's just to get you set up. Okay.
Okay.
For the pivots, well, yeah, so I'll have to go over the pivots. For the pivots, I think I saw you do one earlier. It looks correct. Same kind of 3-step process, except this time you're going to go left, back on the right, and then forward to left to go back the opposite way. So it's left, right, left. Okay? And I tend to delay on that left, that initial left for a second, to allow Blue to see kind of come around you. So by the time you're going back this way, you're already lined up. Okay? Now sometimes dogs lose attention, and you'll go like this, and they just keep going, then I go tap, 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 and line them up because you already lost them.
Right.
Okay? So we'll first start with the crossover turns, and then we'll move into the pivots.
You.
Right, left, right. We see at the, I was gonna say, better. Relax your arms. Better. Good. One more. Good. Want to slow to stop? Good. I'm gonna have you try the same thing, but I'm gonna have you go at a much quicker pace,
Okay.
so that your slowdown's a bit more drastic.
Okay.
Okay. Better. Let me have you add in about 2 more additional slow
Slow
steps.
down steps.
There, it's better. There you go. A couple more. Very good. Last one. There you go. And slow down and stop. Good. And relax. Your arms always come up. Okay. So we might have to duct tape those arms down. So you build that habit. But those look better with the addition, like the added slower steps. Now, I don't know if I asked them, do you walk fast?
Not recently, no. I have an ankle issue now, so I tend to walk a lot slower.
A lot slower? Okay. I think you're just getting caught in your momentum, or just up here.
Yeah.
Because I've just got to think about your speed, displacement, and then how your legs are moving and stuff. So that's why I suggest before each walk, you do reps of 5. You drill it in, and then you go on for your walk. But otherwise, your cut in was very good. It was just that prep for it.
Yeah.
If it ever feels awkward, either we did something incorrectly, or he's not paying attention and we didn't line him back up again.
Okay.
That's like the most common things that I see is the owner will complain that the dog's not turning with them like they were during class. And I'm like, well, where's the dog? They're like, oh, they're over here. I'm like, what does that tell us? Turn, right? Or they're just turning into it without slowing down. So they're having to like compensate and like rush around the dog. Like you'll know, like it just feels awkward.
Right.
But when everything's working as it should be very easy. There should be no need for remote because it's all body language. Okay.
Right.
So we're now going to switch to the pivots. That's the left, right, left, going to your immediate right. Okay. Now remember, if he keeps going, like you're doing your job, you slow down, you extend that leg, but then Blue just keeps going, tap, 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 and then go the opposite way because you already lost him.
And then, so that looks like basically like this.
Right. So you have the turn right. It would just be that first step out, then the back on the right, and then forward to the left. So, so go stand next to him. Relax. Left arm. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Left leg.
Left leg.
There you go. Back on your right leg.
And then
Then left leg.
Okay.
There you go. Just like that.
All right.
Yep. Go ahead and pivot. There you go. You're good. And relax. And heel on the left leg. Right. Left. There you go. Relax. Left. Right. Tap, tap. Speed them up a little bit. There you go. Good. Left. There you go. That's a good turn. Relax those arms. Left, right, left. Good turn. Very good. And slow step. Good. Easier, right? Left. The pivots are typically easiest for people because we tend to naturally move that way when we turn. I've only had one person that rocked the opposite way. It was really weird. So, questions about that stuff?
No.
So what I'm gonna have you do here is same thing, but you're gonna do all those things randomly.
Okay.
Okay. You choose changing your speed, speeding up, slowing down, coming to a stop, pivoting, and crossover turns. Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Heel.
Crossover. Pivot. Crossover. Yep. Power through. There you go. Going slow to stop here. So on a couple of those heels, you move right leg.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So left leg. And I was just wondering, because I saw his head here, but it wasn't terrible. Like you could have gone with your left leg and it would have deflected him to your left side. Okay. So heel, left leg. Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Heel.
Pivot. Turn. Pivot. Excellent. Couple more. Left leg. Relax those arms. Not picking on you, by the way.
No, I know.
Good. Good. You got it. Good. One more little round. Good. Pivot. Yep, cut it. There you go. Good. Slow to stop. Yep. Relax those arms. There you go. When you move, like you relax when you're fine, when you're not moving.
I always
you start walking, you lock up. Okay. So, if you ever catch yourself doing this, down.
It's better when I have pockets.
I was
That's
gonna
what
say
doing
if you
on
had
my walks,
pockets,
I would, like
put 'em
had
in.
them on my
For
pockets.
sure. Otherwise, all that looked good. Really wanted to focus on the heel left leg. Crap, there's something else I was going to say. Just. Crap, I forgot. All right, we're gonna do another run. I'm gonna just shout stuff at you.
Okay.
As quickly as you can. Oh, power through those left turns. So when you're moving through, like you're trying to keep in the sidewalk, so you're stumbling. And if you just go, boom, like don't even worry about blue.
Okay.
Power through them. Okay. So with this type of physicality, you're just claiming your space.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's going to happen is it's going to make him more wary of you. Okay. And he's going to want to find a fine balance between being close but not too close, which would then help remedy this problem. Because he's thinking, oh, if I'm too close to mom, she'll turn into me and then I get a knee to the face or whatever. So it's going to teach him to find that nice pocket where he stays out the way, but he's still in position where you want him. Okay? So our general space should be about maybe 6 inches in terms of beside us or closer. Anything further than that, it's a little bit too much. That you could either keep going and tap to bring him in closer or randomly pivot out of nowhere and tap him to bring him in.
Okay.
Otherwise, the pivot's really good. He was turning with you really quickly. The left turns are good in terms of the legs you're leading with. It's just powering through, not worrying about accidentally stepping on him or whatever. It's going to make him respect you more. Okay? So I'm going to just shout random stuff to you: speed up, slow down, stop, left turns. I'll say crossover, pivot, and then as quickly as you can do it. But do take your time to slow down and get those steps in or whatever before you actually complete it. Now, if I tell you something, like maybe I say crossover, but Blue isn't, like that shoulder isn't in position and you try to cross over and force it, it's not going to happen. It's going to be very awkward. So even though I say crossover, if your brain says he's not in position, what do you want to do?
Pivot?
Yes. You would correction. You would turn away, tap to lock him in, and then go into that turn. Okay? So, and going forward, even if you're thinking, I'm going to come to a stop, right? And he keeps going, turn, tap, lock him in so that you stop together. The more you make it black and white and very consistent, the better training's going to be. Okay? Questions?
No.
Okay. Yo.
Yo.
Crossover. Good. Crossover. Speed up. Relax. Pivot. Good. Pivot. Crossover. Good. Speed up. Tap the speed hip up. There he is. Pivot. Let's crossover.
Oh, shoot.
Pivot. Okay. There you go. Good turn. Pivot again. Pivot again. Crossover. 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 Pivot. Speed up. Slow. Slower. Pivot. Speed up. Slow to stop. Good. Light pull forward tap. 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 Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. There you go. Better. 3 steps. 1 big step. Very good. So, see how heels right there?
Yep.
So, and because we have more attention because it's a training session, that's clearly not realistic, right? But it shows you the level of focus you can get. And this is all just from what we did last week with that back and forth exercise.
Right.
And then appropriate body language to let him know what we're doing. So this is like dancing. In dancing, there's a leader and a follower. An experienced dancer can make an inexperienced dancer look good or look like they know what they're doing because they know how to lead. Okay? Yep. So same thing for, correct, good job. For these guys, so when I work with dogs, I've done this for 10 years, that if I train them myself, day one I'm already doing these things that are helping them all along. But this isn't anything about like teaching them, it's just you're communicating with them.
Yeah.
Dogs communicate through body language. So that's why this happens so quickly, it's because it's natural to them.
Yeah.
Okay? So heel is Blue pays attention to you, and then in response, it's your job to make sure he's paying attention, but also to tell him what you're doing with those leg movements.
To lead him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slowing down before those turns, slowing down before that stop, making sure you're giving him plenty of heads up. If you're walking and it's been 15 minutes and you slow down and he keeps going, he just wasn't paying attention, you turn, tap. Now it's your job to lock him back in again and then continue what you were doing. Okay? So it should never feel like a struggle with the heel with your dog. When you're on the walks, just remember those cues, because if it ever feels awkward, you may have forgotten something, or we're not holding him to the standard that we know he's supposed to do. Okay?
Right, yeah.
Questions about that?
No, I don't.
Try. Your turn.
Okay, I have not practiced any of this, so
It's okay.
I didn't watch any of your videos.
You're okay. I'll coach you through it,
Bad
okay?
student.
No, I'm waiting for the class.
Hey, what you can, yep, there you go. Good. And excellent. So we're going to give it a little bit of slack. We're going to start first with those crossovers, okay? So I'll give you a quick refresher. So we're going to turn left. I switch my right. Right. Right on the track. Left. Right. Now we're going the opposite way. Okay? And when we do this, you're walking on the middle lane. Plenty of time to figure out what's going on. Slow down. Right, left, right. Speed up. Right, left, right. Okay? I'll coach you, okay? You got it. Once you start it, it's no biggie. So heel, left leg. Get ready for slow. And right. There you go. Left. Right. There you go. Excellent. 4 more. Right. Left. Right. Very good. 3 more. Right. Left. Right. Good. Yeah, when you turn, you felt like it was a tiny bit awkward. Right. There you go. Left. Right. Very good. Left, right, good. Slow to stop. Excellent. We're going to do the same thing, but I'm going to have you do a brisker walking pace so that when you slow down, it's a bit more drastic, okay?
Okay.
Whenever you're ready. Heel.
Heel.
Very good. Right, good. Right, left, right. Very good. 2, 3 more. Right, left, right, good. So now we need to slow down.
Slow down.
But you see how you just end up
Yeah,
like
he hit me. Yeah. Slow down again.
Good. We'll try one more. And slow to stop. Careful, the auto sit. There you go. Very good. So all those were good, but you can tell when you're like, when you just cut into them,
Yeah.
right away you just bop them, right?
Yep.
Now, let's say that happened on an actual walk. That's the other reason about doing the right leg, is if you do just cut into it and bop them, you're gonna push them to the left. If you turn in with your left leg, it's either gonna push them out, or he's gonna float off to your right. Okay. Oil trick. Right there. Okay. So if it does happen where it's like, oh, I screwed up, commit. What happens? Oh, I screwed up, and then they start tripping and stumbling because they don't follow through. If it happens, then you go boom, my bad, and then boom, and that just keeps going. Okay. Now we're gonna do this. Now we're gonna do the about turn or the right pivots. So that would be the left, right, left. Now the opposite.
Okay.
Left, right, left,
Okay.
right. Whenever you're ready. Left, right, good job.
That feels easier.
You know why it feels weird?
No.
Do you know why? Slow to stop. You see it? By weird, is it just the movement, or is it weird like because it just seems kind of off?
I don't know. Just off, I guess.
Because they're not slowing down.
Okay.
At least that's what I'm
That's
seeing.
always the answer.
Because I told you, it's the one thing that everybody forgets is you're going like this and you have all that momentum, and
Yes.
then you're putting it on that leg. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if I'm walking fast and then I slow down, there's not so much, at least what I'm thinking of it being off for you is the same thing. That's the only thing that I saw. Your movements are all correct.
Okay.
But you're just jumping straight into that left turn. So if you're going quick, I mean, it's like a car, right? You're
Is
going
that
really fast.
okay for him? I mean, like he followed me though, right?
So it's a training session.
He's in
You're thinking in reality, because if you're walking for 20 minutes and you're walking at that pace, and all of a sudden you just pivot like that, like it's going to be so abrupt. He's not going to catch it.
Okay.
You might do a back heel flip over.
Got it.
So that's why what you practice, right, is what you're going to do in real life. So that's why before the walk, I suggest the 5 heel stops, so you can focus on heel, left leg, right, couple of stops. Build that muscle memory. And it's, heel, now it's going to be right, left, right, and making sure we add in those slowdowns. So that quick, like 2 to 3 minute just warm up is to kind of just get you ready for, okay, remember to slow down before I turn, before I pivot.
to get us in the right mindset.
Correct. Once you get it, like I don't think about this stuff anymore. I just naturally slow down,
Yeah.
But for you guys, it's because now it's like driving. Like you have to do things to alert your other drivers what's going on, because no one's going to read your mind. Okay, you have blinkers, you can pump our brakes, flash the red lights, all that stuff, the blinker, headlights, all that. To communicate. If we don't communicate, there's a bad driver. That's an accident. So in the case here with Blue, it's the same kind of concept. If there's no communication, it's not going to, it's not going to go well. And then I'm going to come back, or you guys are going to come back, and Jessica was great, but then Blue wasn't listening. He wasn't turning with us, and I'm going to say, we're slowing down. Okay? I got proof. So we're going to try that again.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to try another batch of 5 of those pivots.
Okay.
And what do we want to do?
Slow down.
Yes. Okay? Whenever you're ready.
Heel.
There you go. I'd add in maybe one more extra step on the slow down. Oh, it's a nice one. There you go. Good. Tap forward. That's his grip, not yours. Right, good move, good move. We'll try 2 more. Excellent. Last one. Much better. Very good. Going to pivot like this, turn outward. There you go. Now, do you know why that happened? So that wasn't Blue. That was just an abrupt stop.
Okay.
So he went,
Okay.
okay. So that one I don't went against him.
Okay.
Okay, because that I saw it right. It's just, you pivoted and you just turned, and he went. So
Okay.
That was
Okay.
him catching up.
yeah, so I just adjust there. Okay.
Okay.
So I mean I do like as strict as I am. I do look at things and go like, yeah, that's on the hand. Accountability, right?
Yeah.
And then being able to recognize that, because it can happen where, again, the handler is making a lot of mistakes or forgetting to do stuff, and they're putting it on the dog.
I don't think I would have thought that was my fault.
Oh, really? Yeah.
No, really. No, I felt like, for me, I felt like I was right and he was wrong.
Right. No, it was super abrupt. You took like
Okay.
2 steps, and it was stop.
Okay.
Now, if you would have pivoted and then like 1, 2 real slow, like you kept that slow movement, then I would say, yeah, you should have caught that. But it was slow pivot and then 2 steps and stop. Okay.
Okay.
So it's super. I see it all the time. It's super common. Okay. That's why I stress it, and I stressed it in the first class. Make sure before you stop, before you turn, you start slowing down. So I was trying to build that pattern, because now it's really important that you slow down. Because now you have to think about leg movement and stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Obviously, it's unnatural for a person to like just have to think about how they're walking, because as humans we can typically just follow each other.
Or walk along.
Yeah, but now that you're walking with a dog that's been taught to pay attention to you, there has to be that communication. Okay? So, you'll get it, no worries. It's easy, it's just a matter of practice. Okay? Questions about any of this stuff here?
No, just practicing it. Yep.
So, this is the complete package of heel. Walk with me, stay with me, sit with me, stop. He pays attention to you. Your job, of course, is to be mindful and communicate to him what it is you're doing, movement-wise, speed-wise, or just stopping. Okay?
Do it.
Any other questions?
No. I think we covered it.
Have you had, I can't remember, human reactivity on leash?
Yes. It tends to be better like on leash. Like he'll listen more, but as soon as there's a distance, and it's different with everyone. That if you close it, he'll react. Or like I'm surprised, to be honest, that like this is happening. Like I'm so close to you and he's not doing anything. Because like my neighbor will walk his dogs by, who's fine with the dogs, but as soon as me and the neighbor come even within 2 feet, he goes up.
Or there's communicative.
Or if I talk over the fence to the neighbor,
If
he's
there's a
uncomfortable.
distance closed between Hannah and the neighbor, or Hannah and someone, like a stranger. It
It's
tends
just a
to
lot
be
of
more
barking
it
and
tends to be
growling.
more Hannah than
And
the
this
rest
is like
of us.
on the property or like on
Both.
in the
Both. It's been at a dog park. A man came like within 2 feet of me, and I turned and kind of jumped because it was a big man and I hadn't seen him, and then I was like, oh hi, and Blue went off. Like as soon as I
good.
initiated contact, Blue was like barking at him, and I had to pull him out. So
But we had a situation where our neighbor, who he's known through the fence, was walking his 2 dogs. COVID, we're social distancing like this. All of a sudden, the dogs are kind of creeping towards each other.
Oh,
Hannah's
sure.
creeping up, and then it was a lunge.
like as soon he made maybe a small movement, and Blue decided to like lunge and start like barking and stuff. So it's kind of like unpredictable.
Okay.
Yeah, we find the aggressive piece to be unpredictable.
Okay. So I already picked up the predictability.
That's awesome.
It's the energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so I know for you, it was like you were startled, like, hey, right?
Right.
But that's a change in energy.
It's her energy.
Or the energy in general, right?
Okay.
Because like that, like, so dogs see energy, like this is energy, me
Right.
talking, right? So, you hear that? Did you hear that energy, right? There's some though.
It's calm though, and it's dominant.
Where's the energy coming from? Like if we're quiet right now, where's the energy right now?
Out there,
Why?
because we're not doing anything.
I think each person has energy, right? Like you project something.
Sirens.
Oh, okay.
Well, all the noise and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So like let's say it was not windy, there were no sirens, there was no traffic. It'd be just silent, right?
Yeah.
That's energy to a dog. So when I get dogs that move from like small town or suburb, Chicago or whatever, and they move to Lakeview or Southview, Chicago, they tend to develop reactivity or anxiety. And the owner's like, why? My dog was great ever since before this, right? And I'm like, because of the change in energy.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't know it now because you're desensitized to it. You're used to cars and sirens and traffic and all that stuff, right? That is just like whatever to us. But for a dog, especially a dog that grew up in a very quiet area that for years of its life, then it goes to an area like that, a lot of times they have issues. My dogs had issues because they're in Texas where I got them from. The town, like 15-minute drive across the town, and a population of 5,000 or whatever, and everybody knows everybody. So super quiet town. And then I moved back to Chicago and I bring my dogs with me, and then my pit didn't poop for 3 days. She was so anxious.
Didn't understand.
Yeah, and she was panting and all. Like it was just, but now they're fine
Yeah.
because they've gotten used to it. So, but we're not used to that. Dogs are super sensitive to this, right? So, like, let's say you're at the park, whatever, and it's just you and Blue and maybe a couple other people that are like off in the distance. Like you said, the energy's kind of quiet. The energy would be over there. Then all of a sudden something happens here. Oh, hi! Right? That's a change in energy.
Right.
And when you got a nervous dog, that's what causes the trigger. What doesn't seem like much to you is something to him. So like with people, I had an ex-girlfriend who was an anxious personality type, and like at that time I didn't know as much as I do now. And looking back, oh wow, like had I known that now, like I would have
seen it.
Exactly. But I remember one time we got in a little argument, and I was super busy, and I was like, can you make reservations at this restaurant tonight or whatever? And then she kept going like, no, I can't, I don't like doing that, like, right? And I'm like, well, like, just make the call or whatever, right? And And then finally I was like, just call them and make a reservation in a stern voice. And she just like,
Yeah.
right? And I felt really bad. Later on, you know, we talked about it and stuff. She's like, I'm sorry, like this is how I am. Like I don't like
Making phone
it's too much
calls and stuff.
for me. And I go, oh, I was like, I didn't know. And at the time, because I didn't understand the anxiety, human anxiety of it, because I myself at the time not really experienced it, I didn't get it. It didn't click for me. But then as I worked with dogs more and I met more people and I had friends that then were like, yeah, I struggle with anxiety, social anxiety, stuff like that. Then I started learning more. And now I started becoming more aware of people. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So it's kind of like, it's the same thing, but it's coming from a dog. So for you, you're not seeing it.
Yeah.
So then the first time we saw him get aggressive and reactive, we got more anxious, which communicated to him more anxiety, correct?
It's a
And
feedback
it was like
loop.
a bitch, and we started calling him Cujo.
Sure. And now you have negative energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't know what Cujo
Or
means.
Hannibal Lecter.
With the muzzle, yeah. I had a guy, he used to call his dog Little Lecter.
Yeah,
Because he had the muzzle. I used to
No,
crack
I mean
up.
you do. You see him in the muzzle, and all you get is silence of the lambs. You know.
Right. And when it comes to his energy, now that you're aware, because I can see it clicking for you, you're like,
Yeah.
oh wow, like this makes a lot of sense. They get scared, we get scared. They get nervous, we get nervous, right?
Right.
But for us, it's a little bit different than for him. Because there's a lot of things that we are aware of, that we know are in existence, that he doesn't.
But what about the times where we think everything's fine, but he doesn't? So
Then we
like,
have to read the situation, right? Like, give
like
me
when we were at the dog park and we're just walking next to a guy over here and he's coming around.
I think the better example is Elliot. Like the one friend we had where we were sitting on the porch, totally calm energy. She had been there for 2 hours, 3 hours, and I did say, like, do you want to eat?
Yeah.
So I did introduce food
You
into
said you
it.
want to eat and stood up.
And
so
I
it
stood
changed.
up, and she didn't do anything. She did nothing. I stood up, and he went at her.
Sure. There was still a change in energy.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not what the typical situation would be, is where I would expect it to be from the other person.
Right. Like she had said something.
But dogs can understand where you're projecting energy. Because if my energy is projected, like actually you said when you're talking to someone, they're talking to you, like you'll come in,
Yeah.
like you're directing energy to each other.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
does that make sense? So there's still a shift. I would say, yeah, that's not what I would anticipate, but for a nervous dog, that fits the description.
Okay.
Okay? And now whenever you see anything, if you see anything, like when something happens with, like, I call it taking a snapshot, like a picture of that moment when the dog reacted, and I can plot what it was. You know? So
Yeah.
like for one client, I remember we were doing recall with her dog was fine, whatever, friendly dog, and this happened. Big gust of wind. And he was in the middle of a recall, the gust of wind happened and the dog took off. And the owner was like, remote and all that stuff, got the dog to come back. And he's like, man, he did a bunch of them, no problem.
Oh, he couldn't see what the issue was at
And
all.
I said, does your dog have issue with wind? And he goes, oh. And he's like, yeah. I was like, because right when he took off, the wind just came through. But I didn't know that about the dog.
Right.
But that's what my brain saw in that very moment when I saw the detour. I felt the wind. I've had like a client, they were like this, we're talking, and then boom, right? Car backfire, whatever. The dog startles. And they're like, what the hell? Right? They correct the dog and everything. They're like, what's wrong? And I'm like, backfire.
Right. Yeah, the same thing happened. We're walking over like just a little like platform thing that kind of jumped, and he did fine when I went over it, and then she went over it, and he like skirted
Yeah, so
up
if
front,
it's
and I knew
something he hears
immediately it was that.
Behind him.
Excuse me?
So if it's something he hears behind him, he spooks.
He spooks
Yeah,
easily.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, for nerves, because that's where you're vulnerable.
Right.
So now whenever you see anything from him, now try and just be more aware.
Okay.
Learn what the triggers are. I know what the triggers are because I know nervous energy.
Yeah.
I know what anxious energy looks like. I know what fearful energy and all that stuff. So I can come in with a pretty good idea of like, I know how I can push things because I know the energy. But every dog has its own nuance. Okay? Questions about that?
No.
Do you mind if I do a quick touch test?
It's fine.
Do you want to do it? Or do you want to have her do it?
I think it would be interesting. I don't care, but it might be interesting having her do it.
But
Because
if
It seems more
see her
preferable.
through her. He's not as protective of me, I don't think.
So what you're gonna do here, whenever you get an aggressive response, is up here, because we're anticipating we may see something, you're actually gonna shorten the leash. Okay, like that. Now the reason why we're doing this here is if we anticipate that we're gonna see some type of an aggressive response, since you have it shorter, pull up. See how fast you get contact?
Yeah.
Right? It's always straight up. People tend to go back or they go up and back. You always want to go straight up. Up de-escalates. Okay, it also gives you the most control.
Yeah.
Let's say there is something here that's actively being aggressive, you pull up and you move the front paws. Now you cannot direct the bite.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? You can pull up as high as you want to like remove them from the strike zone or whatever. But that gives you the most immediate control. Okay? The other thing I want you to get used to is up. And in this case, I'm going to have you step off to the side. Okay? Because the up and away. The reason why we do this is if he becomes aggressive and you have to up and away to correct him, we think about the redirect. Okay? Where he's so frustrated, he's such in an agitated state. When you remote him, it has to go somewhere. And you're the closest thing.
Yep.
So it doesn't make him aggressive to you. He's just already in that mindset. You feel something, he's
You gotta go somewhere.
Exactly.
That explains the time he nipped you when he was actually going after Ivy.
Yeah, and I completely understood that one in the moment. It was just like you said, like I was the closest thing, and he didn't even realize it was me right then. Like he did not know.
Right. That's why I don't hold those against the dog because it's a redirect. It's not intentional. It's not planning like, oh, if this doesn't happen, I'm gonna bite mom type of deal. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do here is your responsibility is with Blue. Okay, so go ahead and look at Blue. Okay, relax your arm. How do you look at his face here? Keep your eyes on him. Just got a little bit closer. How would you describe this behavior? Like, does he look
A little anxious.
a little anxious? Okay. And you see here, he's an open mouth. Okay. That's venting stress or relaxation. Okay. I want you to keep an eye on that mouth. Okay. You see that?
Close immediately. Yeah.
Right. And then you see you go back to open. So closed mouth and then lip lick. Closed mouth means tension. Lip lick means whatever's happening is stressing me out.
Trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Okay. And then you went back to relaxation. Okay. We're gonna see if he does it again. See that? Okay. Then I step away. Open mouth. So right here. Now that smelling is good. Smelling is curiosity. But you want to learn to read that stuff. So like, let's say you're talking to your neighbor, you have Blue on leash. You can have a conversation and watch him. You're not being rude.
Yeah.
You know, you can say something too, like, oh, I'm training him. I'm just like.
Yeah, he totally did. Yeah.
And you're watching, like maybe your neighbor like go like sees something, goes, hey, right? And all of a sudden you see Blue close his mouth and lick his lips. Change in energy.
Learning to read his facial expressions. Yeah.
Right? So then what seems unpredictable is now predictable. And that's the one, when he's in this state, okay, it's much easier to see it because it goes from open mouth to panting. I'm going to go to make contact here, okay? Ears kind of going back here.
And he's breathing heavily.
You see how the mouth is closed?
Yeah, it's through the nose and not panting.
Yes, because there's tension here. He's not comfortable with it, but he's not, since he's settled because of the healing exercise, he's not already on edge. That's why we do this first. Settle everything down, calm him down, and then see how does he take the pressure. And then he goes back to it. Okay? So let's say you get done none of this, and he was on edge, and then I went to go touch him. High probability that we can see
Some kind of bite or
Correct.
something. Yeah.
when I deal with legitimately aggressive dogs, we're going to see it no matter what.
Right.
Okay, so that's a positive.
So
That's
it's a good sign.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why I have to know what's going on behind the aggression. Because think of it like I'm going to assume you've been angry in your life.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so have I. Have we?
Absolutely.
Okay, so can we.
Yeah.
Okay, the problem is, as humans, we can communicate things like leave me alone, I'm angry or whatever, right? We can distance ourselves and all that stuff. He can't. He doesn't have that language, and he's more likely because he's primal and he's a physical animal to handle things through habit. So if somebody punches someone in their life, once in their life, we don't dub them an aggressive person. But if a dog bites one person or one dog, all of a sudden it's like, I have an aggressive dog.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I try to educate as much as possible on emotional state and all that stuff, because we're all animals. The only difference is we see past, present, future. We have a language and we have an imagination. Otherwise, we're driven by the same instincts.
Yeah.
Okay? So we'll cap it at that for today. We have to
Okay.
head out to our next one. It was a pleasure seeing you, ladies. If you have any questions, let us know.
Okay.
Otherwise, good job.
Thank you.
For booking the door stuff, if you would shoot me an email for that like global stuff,
Yeah.
you can already start that. So you can book that whenever you're ready. But shoot me an email because I have to send you a video first for you to watch to prep you for that lesson.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
No, you're gonna call and get the.
Oh yeah.
charger?
And you
the
can stop by the
charger?
facility.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
Good memory. I
Thank you.
forgot.
That's right.